Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make our Butterfly Flutter Necklace. This necklace features Czech glass beads and vintage components for a fun summer necklace. Let's take a look at the products and tools we'll need to make it. For this project, I will be using a 4mm Milky Sapphire Fire Polish round glass beads. I have an 8x6mm pink silk with bronze bottom cut faceted drop Czech glass beads. I have a 6mm Alabaster Pastel Olivine round fire polished Czech glass beads. I have a 15x19 natural brass butterfly charm by Vintaj. I have a 17.5mm natural brass medallion Filigrees by Vintaj. I have a 20mm natural brass Moroccan tile pendant by Vintaj. I have some 3.5mm natural brass curb chain. I have a 12mm lobster claw clasp. I have some 4mm 21 gauge open jump rings. I have 11mm 14 gauge roped open jump ring. I have some 1.5 22-inch eye pins, and I have a 2-inch 22 gauge head pin. And then for my paints, I'm using the Abalone Pearl Vintaj Patina kit, which comes with these 3 colors included in it. For my tools today, I will be using round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, wire cutters. I have a tape measure. I have some paint brushes, a paper towel, and a cup with a little bit of water to clean my paint brushes as I'm painting. You can find links to all these beads and supplies in the description below. So let's get started. Okay, so to begin your necklace, we're going to start with painting our filigrees. So we're going to take our blank natural brass filigrees, and we're going to paint them with the Abalone Pearl Vintaj Patinas. So this patina kit comes with the 3 colors in there, and you've got an ocean pearl, a seafoam pearl, and a seashell pearl. So those are the colors that I chose to use today. So I have a couple of examples here that I've already painted to kind of show you what we'll be doing. So this Moroccan tile, I painted with the sea foam in the center, and then I just kind of did the edges with the ocean pearl. So it's got that kind of green and blue look to it. Then on this little medallion, this one was painted all over with the seashell, the pink, and then I just did a little bit of the ocean pearl, the blue in the center. So I've got those ones already done. So now I just have some blanks here that I'm going to show you how I painted those. So this medallion, I want it just to be the same as this other medallion because they're going to sit on each side of the jump ring as I construct my necklace. So I'm just going to set my butterfly aside and this other guy aside right now. So I'm just going to have that one there just so I have a reference. So I'm going to take the pink, the seashell pearl, and you just want to make sure that your paints are really shooken up and that you hear the little roller ball moving around quite a bit before you begin to use them. So I've already pre-shook these, so they're good to go. So what I like to do is I like to just take a little piece of plastic and then just drop a little bit of paint on there. It doesn't really take much, just so I have a working surface. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush. I'm going to get just a little bit on there. And then I'm just going to paint my filigree. And I don't want it to be super solid, so I'm going to just kind of brush it on there. Because I kind of like a little bit of that natural brass, not really showing through, but just that it's not so solid and you don't want to block the holes because we will be attaching to this. So I'm just going to go ahead, and paint all over. And I see I got a couple holes blocked, but that's okay, because I'm going to then just put my brush in the water there. And then I'm just going to take a little makeup sponge and I'm just going to kind of blot it because I wanted that little bit more of a soft look here. So I'm just going to let that dry for a second. I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush here in my water. And so all you need is just a little bit of water to clean your brush, and then just get like a paper towel and just dry it off there. So these do dry pretty fast. It's pretty fast drying. I am going to use this other little brush just because it's a little smaller. And so then I'm just going to do the little blue area in the center there. So I'm just going to get another paper. And again, I've already shaken these up. So I'm just going to put just a tiny drop of the blue on there. And then I'm going to put some on my brush. And then I'm just going to try to do that center part and just kind of mimic the other one that I've already done. I just kind of started in the center and then I just kind of moved out there. So just kind of, so I've got that in there. And then I just like to, again, with the sponge or soft cloth or even a paper towel, just kind of blot it a little bit because I just like that a little bit softer look on the blue. And then I think I just took a little too much off there. So I'm just going to go up a little bit more because I just want to make sure that it kind of matches that one. And they don't have to match exactly, but it's nice if you can get them to be pretty close. So I'm feeling that that is pretty close there. So again, I'm just going to put my brush in my water and then dry that off really quick so that I can use it again. All right. So there, I've got my 2 medallions done. So I'm just going to set those aside right now. Seeing how that one's been painted, he should be okay on the board there. Hopefully it won't make a mess. And I'm just going to wipe this down in case any of this is wet, but it's not, so we're good to go. So I'm just going to continue to use that same surface. Now I'm going to paint my butterfly. So for my butterfly, I decided that I'm going to have him kind of have like a little bit of a blue core, mostly pink on his wings, and then maybe just the tips I'm going to do blue. So, but again, you can paint your filigrees any way that you like, and so that you can kind of make the piece custom to your own. I feel like my paint is probably still pretty good. So I'm just going to grab a little bit and I'm just going to start on my wings here because I just kind of want to have a little bit of layer on there. So I'm just using a slight little brush stroke, just kind of pull it out just to do it on the wings there and not the whole body. It gets a little bit tricky when you're trying to do the other side to try to find something to hold on to, but a lot of times that little loop works pretty good. And I need a little bit more paint, I believe. So I'm just going to put in, whoops, maybe a little too much paint, but that's all right. So grab some more. You can always blot it there and then just kind of paint that other side. And you might get a little bit on you, but it's not going to hurt you or anything. All right. So I'm going to just, because you can see on this one side there, it's a little bit more solid than the other side. And I like the more solid, so I'm just going to try to copy that here so that both sides are even. I'm just going to pick him up because I feel like I need to get there. And then too, if you have too much paint, just wipe a little bit off on a paper towel so that you can get the look that you want. So there, I feel like both sides are pretty even. I'm just going to do a little bit here on that side, just so that that edge is there. All right, now I'm going to clean my brush again. Get my paper towel here. I'm just going to set that one aside and grab a new one because I got that one pretty wet. So now I'm going to switch back to just this other little brush because it's just a little bit finer. And we're going to do the blue because I think I'm pretty much done with my pink for the most part. I might just save that little package there of paint in case I want to do a little bit more. So again, just make sure you shake it really good. I've shook them earlier. It's always good just to give a little shake as you're going. Put some blue on there. And now I'm going to try to just paint his little inner core. And as you can tell, that paint dries really fast, so it is pretty quick to work with. And like you can just like paint that side and then let it dry for a second, and then you can go ahead and do the rest of it. So I'm just going to try to just paint his little body there. So a really fine little brush is probably the best, and that way you can get into the littler spots, but really any brush will do. So there, I did his little core, which is kind of fun. And then I just want to just add a little bit to his tips. So I'm just going to kind of go over here, just do a little bit. And then I'm going to take a sponge or a little soft cloth, and I'm just going to kind of blot it because I just want to soften it there a little bit. And there, it kind of just makes a really very subtle little look, which I think is kind of fun. But if you wanted a more like solid, you wanted them just to be like not even see the filigree under there, you could just keep painting it and do it a lot more solid, and then that way it would cover it more. But I think it's kind of fun to see the little bit of the filigree finish coming through under there. And there, it's like I have my little butterfly. I think he's pretty good. I might just do his little core just a little bit more just because I want that to stick out. I don't want that really to be faded so much. So I'm just going to do a little bit more. Trying not to block my hole like I just did. So I'm just going to take a eye pin and I'm just going to pop that through there so that it doesn't stay blocked because we do need to use that hole to attach our charm later. All right, so that is all there is to it. It's just you just like paint. Really, it's however you want to do it. It's kind of a fun process. So you can put as much as you want, take some off. You could even use some of the relief blocks to kind of sand a little bit of the finishes off if you wanted to, if that's something you'd want to do in your look. And you don't have to use these patinas just with vintage materials. It's like you can use these on the vintage, you could do it on TC, on none. It's like you could really use it on any kind of product that you wanted to paint. So it's like, that's a really fun look, and you get 3 little colors in a package. So that's kind of fun. You know, you get some options there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then we're going to start to build our necklace. So I'll be right back. Okay, so after you've painted your filigrees and they're all dry, you're ready to construct the rest of your necklace. So I always like to start kind of at the bottom and move my way up. So this is one of my center focals here, and I have a little drop bead that I want to hang off the bottom of the tile. So to do that, I'm just going to take a head pin. I'm going to put on my drop bead, wide side in first. Then I'm going to just bend it over at a 90-degree angle. Then I'm going to cut the majority of it off, just leaving enough to turn a simple loop. You want to make sure, though, your simple loop is big enough to go around the little edge of this tile. So just make sure you leave enough wire there. So cut your tail off. Then you're going to take your round nose pliers and you're going to just roll it back in a simple loop. So there, I've got my simple loop, and then I'm just going to open it to the side and attach it to the tile here, and then just close it, moving it back to the center there. So now we've got our little tile with a little drop there, so that's kind of cute. And then our butterfly is going to be layered on top of this tile, kind of hanging towards the top there. And he's going to be attached to this 11mm jump ring. And to attach those, I'm just going to use the 6mm fire polish on an eye pin. So I'm going to take an eye pin here, and I'm going to just slide on the 6mm round. I'm just going to make another simple loop on this other end, just like we did with the head pin, bending this over. Again, I just want to make sure my loops are big enough to go over the jump ring and to go through those 2 little guys there. So I'm going to just make this one side a little bit bigger. So grab your round nose, grab the end there, and then you're just going to roll it back into a simple loop. Then you're going to open that loop that you just made. Move it to the side, and then you're going to just slide on your butterfly charm, and then you're going to slide that top hole of the Moroccan tile, and then you'll just close that loop to secure them. So see there, they're just going to hang right like that, and then it will go to the other ring. So now I just need to make sure that my my loops are straight across here. You can see this loop's going this way and the other one's the other direction. I just always like them to go the same way there. So I'm just going to adjust that. Then I'm going to open the loop on the other end of that eye pin, and that is going to go around my jump ring here. Oops. There we go. All right, so got that there. So see there, your butterfly is just kind of hanging there on top. I've got our little drop here. And now, so this is kind of like our main focal, and then all of our beads and everything are going to come off of this. So I'll have the medallions here on both sides, and then I'm just going to make another little simple loop link here to have this green go to there, and then we'll start up the side of our piece there. So I'm going to just do one more, putting it on an eye pin, bending it over, cutting off, just leaving enough to make a simple loop on the end there. Grab your round nose, and then you're just going to roll it back. And I always like to make sure that my loops are going the same way before I put them on there most of the time. So just adjust that, and then you're just going to open that loop that you just made. You're going to attach it to the jump ring. You're going to close that. So see, it's going to come up to this one side here, and then this one is going to go to the medallion. So then I'm just going to open up the other loop. And it can be a little tricky to get these to go through the medallion holes. It does go through, you just have to, make sure it's the right end is pointing there, and it just pops right through there. And then you'll just close that loop. And there, I've got one side of my piece done, except for, unfortunately, I put my medallion on backwards there. So I'm just going to flip that around real quick. So opening that back up. There we go. Now it's the right direction. And just close that loop again. All right, so here we got one side going. And now I'm just going to do the other bead on the other side and come up the side there. So I'm going to go ahead, and my next bead is just going to be one of the drop beads here. So, but this time I want my bead to have the small side down first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just have the narrow side down. Then again, just doing the simple loop on the other end. Cut your top there, leave enough just to turn a loop. Take your round nose, and then just go ahead and roll that back. Then you're going to open the loop that you just made and just make sure it's nice and closed there. And then I always just take my 2 chain nose and adjust to make sure my loops are in the same direction. So I want the narrow end to kind of be coming away from this piece. So I want to open the loop that's towards the narrow part of the bead. And then I just chose a little spot where I wanted it to go. I found out that it's I just want it to be 7 pieces over, 7 of the little openings there. So it's here's 2, 2, and then that's 2 there. So it's but you can really pick wherever you want yours to go on. That's just how I want mine to look. So I'm going to just try to find that little 7 there, right? So it's there. So we got 2, 4, 6, and then that 7 should be that guy right there. And then just get that have that little drop. Sometimes it's easier if you have it with your chain nose, and then that way you can have a little bit more force to push it through. But you can really attach anywhere you want to on here, just so that your piece sits nice and straight there. All right. Well, doesn't really want to stay in there very good today for some reason. All right, let's try one more time here. This is kind of what I meant earlier. It's sometimes it's a little harder to get it to go through there for some reason. There it goes. All right, so I finally got it on there. And then just close that loop. All right, and there. So now we've got one side kind of started there. And then our medallion will be just here on the other side. So I'm just going to continuing to build this here. So I'm just going to continue to make some simple loops. So I'm just going to get all my little loops prepped, and then we'll be right back and I'll show you how to construct the other side of the necklace. Okay, so I went ahead and I prepped up some little simple loop links here for all my colors. So now I can just quickly assemble my necklace. So I'm just going to grab the next bead in my pattern, which is the little Milky Sapphire. I'm just going to open the loop. I'm going to attach it to this loop, and then I'm just going to close it. And then I'm going to grab one of these drops, and I kind of liked it where both of the wide ends were pointing towards the sapphire, but again, you can kind of construct it any way you like. So I'm just going to open the loop on the wider end here, and I'm going to attach it to that 4mm sapphire, and then I'm just going to close that loop. And then the next bead is going to be my green. So I'm just going to open one of the loops here and attach it to the loop on here. And then I'm just going to repeat this pattern. So then it's back to the little drop here. So I'm just going to open the loop on the narrow end, because that's what we'll be facing this bigger bead here. Slide on the chain there and then close that. And then I'm going to pick up a sapphire, open one of the loops on there, and attach it to the wide end of that drop. And then I'm going to grab one more drop, opening the loop on the wide end, and then attaching it to the sapphire. And then closing that. Then I have just one more repeat to do here, and then we'll add the chain. So I'm going to go ahead and add my Olivine bead here. And then I'm going to open the loop on a drop bead on the narrow end first. I'm going to attach it to the green. Then open the sapphire. And then attach it to the wide end there. And now I've got my last bead. So this last bead, you want to open the loop, on the wide end, because you want the wide end to face your sapphire. And then go ahead and close that. And now, at this point, we're going to add chain. So I'm just going to turn it around so it's actually facing the way it's facing for a necklace. So, so we've got our whole little pattern here. Oops, it's kind of just stuck on there. There we go. And then I decided to end it, just go to some chain. So I'm just going to take some chain here. I'm going to take my tape measure because I need about 2.5 inches. So I'm going to grab my tape measure, and then I'm just going to cut a length of chain for the one side of the necklace. So if you're, most of the time it'd be best just to do cut your chain at the same time. So just cut 2 lengths of 2.5 inches, because you'll need one for each side of the necklace there. So go ahead and just cut the link off. And then you can just open the loop on the last bead there, and then you're going to attach that to one end of the chain. So you slide that on there. You go ahead and you'll close that. And then on the other end of this chain is where we're going to attach our lobster claw clasp. So I'm going to grab the lobster claw, and I'm going to grab a 4mm jump ring. And we'll just see if I can find the end of that. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll just go ahead and open that guy. Go through the loop on the lobster claw clasp and go through the last link on the chain. And then just go ahead and close that. And so now I've got one side of my necklace is done. So now I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the exact same process to construct the other half. So I'm going to go ahead and do that quickly, and then I'll show you the completed piece. So we'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and I finished the other side of the necklace. So I just made the simple loop links all the way up, and then I connected it to 2.5 inches of chain, and then I just added a 4mm jump ring on the end there, so my lobster claw has somewhere to attach to. So that is all there is to it for the Butterfly Flutter Necklace. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You can find all the products and tools for this inspiration design at fusionbeads.com.